Man, I just love it when bold claims make themselves out into the media once in a while. And this article that we have over here from Mark Madden is exactly that. This is an article here on TribLive.com. If you don't know who Mark Madden is, he is a Pittsburgh guy who talks on the radio once in a while. He's got 114,000 followers on Twitter, and people genuinely do value his opinion to the extent that he is quite a prominent hockey personality in the media. So, when this article came out a few days ago, I read it and I was like, man, what a glorious topic. I felt like I just absolutely had to make a video about this, but of course, because this is our courtesy, go check out the article yourself. Give it a read. It's on TribLive.com. What we're going to be doing in this video is going over what Madden says is his idea, why it would work, how it could work, and what exactly the fans are saying about it. So, the idea over here is this. Could Marc-Andre Fleury return to the Penguins? And I know, immediately after reading that headline, you go, okay, this is absolutely insane. Don't listen to this. How the heck is this realistic? And to Madden's credit, he does say at the very beginning that the odds of something like this happening are less than 50-50, but it's an interesting idea regardless. So, what we're talking about here is Marc-Andre Fleury, a guy who was a Pittsburgh Penguins first overall draft pick. Before they were drafting Sidney Crosby first overall, before they drafted Evgeny Malkin second overall, they had Marc-Andre Fleury first overall in 2003. And for a decade and a half pretty much since that day, Marc-Andre Fleury was pretty much the guy for the Pittsburgh Penguins after stepping into their lineup in 2005. He did quite a few amazing things with Pittsburgh, man. This guy in 2008 went to the finals where they lost. This guy in 2009 went to the finals where they won. This guy in 2016 went to the finals where he lost his starting goaltending position. And in 2017, he went to the finals where he split the load with Matt Murray, a guy who was coming off of nothing pretty much. He was a brand new guy in town, 2012 draft pick who was playing in the AHL, and he made the Penguins out of nowhere, started playing a boatload of games, and eventually he won 2 cups with the Pens too. But after the Penguins Stanley Cup, what ended up happening was the expansion draft came along. And long story short, Fleury ended up going to Vegas. Now, this was a big decision back when it was made, because Matt Murray was this brand new guy, he was extremely young, he was extremely fresh, he won 2 Stanley Cups before his rookie year was technically over in the NHL, which is why he was supposed to be considered the next quote-unquote goaltender of the future in Pittsburgh. And Fleury, as the guy who he was, being with this organization for a decade and a half, took the L. They told him, you know, we're going with Murray, you can go over to Vegas, you can go be the guy over there, build hockey in Nevada, be the guy who allows this team to prosper, and that's exactly what he did. Because in their first year, the Vegas Golden Knights went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and Marc-Andre Fleury lost. So, if you're keeping track, that is straight up 5 Stanley Cup Finals appearances and 3 cup wins for this legendary goaltender over here. But now, in 2020, as a member of that Vegas Golden Knights squad, on a team that was supposed to have him as the starter, he's no longer really that guy anymore. Because at the trade deadline, the Vegas Golden Knights traded for Robin Lehner, who was a Vezina-caliber goaltender last year with the New York Islanders from the Chicago Blackhawks. And this is kind of where Mark Madden's article comes in, because he starts talking about the context. He talks about Alan Walsh, Marc-Andre Fleury's agent's tweet, where Marc-Andre Fleury was getting stabbed in the back by Vegas coach Peter DeBoer. This is from the article now over here. The story goes that when Vegas acquired Lehner from Chicago, DeBoer told Fleury that Fleury's starting job was safe. If Fleury believed that, shame on him, because Lehner was a Vezina candidate last season, and the Golden Knights gave up a big package to get him. The issue doesn't appear to be that Robin Lehner is the starter, it's that Fleury feels deceived. Mark Madden then goes over the entire situation as to the Lehner free agency thing. We know that Robin Lehner is an expiring UFA at the end of the season, and as a result, Firstly, because of his really good performance last year for the Isles, and secondly, because of his really good performance for the Golden Knights in net in the playoffs, there is a very easy to understand connotation that says that Robin Lehner would be valued in the free agency market. But the alternate option here is laid out. Lehner is a UFA, but Vegas is likely to keep him. Fleury, who is 35, who was signed through 2022 at an AAV of $7 million, the Penguins won't want to absorb that cap figure. It's likely that no team would. So how do the Penguins get Fleury back? Vegas could buy him out. And after that, Mark Masters goes over the whole Pittsburgh side of things, because now Matt Murray, that guy who stole Fleury's job, is pretty much on his way out now too. And we know that Tristan Jarry is likely to take over the reins of the Pipes in Pittsburgh. Murray is an RFA, and he's a guy who could probably muster up some good value on the trade market. So, because the Pens have two RFA goaltenders, and one of them in Jarry, who was just straight up better this past season, it's why this whole Murray trade talk has even been started. The article over here then goes over how much Fleury would be making. Bottom line, he's still making money because if you get bought out, there's money to be made by the player. Vegas in this case would want to keep Robin Lehner and buy out Fleury in the process, not because of a disdain towards Fleury, but mostly because it would be difficult to move that contract, and he would probably prefer it more if he ended up being able to play somewhere else as the number one. Which is why the proposal is here. Fleury would be a free agent if he got bought out. Since he would get $8.3 million from the buyout, Fleury might ask for a reasonable figure from the Penguins by the way of being happy and returning home. The rest of the article points out how the Penguins' goaltender situation would be a 1A, 1B situation with Fleury and Jarry manning the pipes, with Fleury on a cheaper contract and Jarry also doing his thing as well. So heading into next season, the Pittsburgh Penguins would get a completely new kind of revitalization to their roster, where it's no longer Matt Murray, you're getting Fleury back. And with the potential of having that on a cheaper deal, I think this idea by Mark Madden, even though it's all too ludicrous, and I know that, it's so interesting to discuss and entertain, because this kind of fantasy booking, this whole thing that we're going on right here, I love this kind of stuff, you know? The possibilities. Buy out this guy because you know he's not going to be happy being the number two behind Robin Lehner when you promised him that he was going to be your number one still. Have a situation where the team that initially drafted this guy needs another goaltender, because would you rather have Jarry and DeSmith running your pipes, or Jarry and Fleury? A guy who literally went to the Stanley Cup Finals in his first year away from Pittsburgh, literally going to the finals 3 years in a row, 16, 17, 18. Fleury was there, and albeit he lost once, he is still Marc-Andre Fleury. He played 3 games in the playoffs this season, and he was good in all of them. He's still legitimately great. Against the Chicago Blackhawks, he let in 1 goal against 27 shots. Against the Canucks, he let in 3 goals on 31 shots, but he still ended up winning because his team scored 5. And then against Dallas, well, he ended up losing, but he only let in 1 goal. It's because the Vegas Golden Knights, they haven't really scored any goals. I mean, they did that yesterday, never mind. They've started to score goals recently, as in yesterday, but up until that time, nah, this team just hasn't been scoring. But the bottom line is, I agree with this point. If the Vegas Golden Knights wanted to keep Robin Lehner, hey, you're going to have a difficult time trading Marc-Andre Fleury. So why not buy the guy out? Especially if there's going to be an amnesty buyout for any of these NHL teams, because the flat cap does exist. We've spoken about this kind of topic at length with Vancouver Canucks discussions talking about Louis Eriksson. But if it's the Vegas point of view, man, if it's Fleury, he still gets the money, but it's not on the Vegas cap. Robin Lehner probably isn't the top UFA goalie anymore because, hey, you probably have enough money to sign him if you don't have Fleury's contract in your economic system anymore. But for Pittsburgh, man, Pittsburgh, this could be an opportunity to bring the boys back together, bring the band back together, reunite everybody, and try to go for one last hoorah before Crosby, Malkin, Letang all fade off into the sunset. So, talk to me in the comments what you think about this whole idea. Obviously, I'll leave a link in the description to Mark Madden's article. Check that out, read it. It's a very good read. Obviously, it's all fantasy booking, I guess, but The justifications are really good, and I like the way he presented everything, so go check that out. And while you're down there, comment down below what you think about this whole idea too. Could the Penguins realistically bring back Marc-Andre Fleury, and how would you feel about this? The fans, well, they responded in this one here. There's a poll on the website. 85% of Pens fans want to see Fleury back in Pittsburgh, so I guess that's kind of where the sentiment lies. So comment down below what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.